Hello, my Forge faithful. It's the Forge Audio Network. I'm Anthony Urciuoli, your digital host. 3 keys to the match presented by Volkswagen, your Forge FC on the road. Their final away match of the regular season. It's against last place FC Edmonton at 5 o'clock, Sunday, September 25th. Forge FC right in the thick of the playoff picture, in control of their own destiny, only 2 points out of first place with a match in hand. FC Edmonton at the bottom of the table. Playoff picture has become heated more than ever with York United's win over Valor on Friday. Forge now just 1 win away from clinching a playoff spot. Now, if you want a in-depth match day preview, that is available now. You can check it out wherever, however you get your Forge FC digital content, whether it's via podcast, YouTube, forgefc.ca, or via social media. Check out the match day preview. I had a conversation with Charlie O'Connor-Clark from canpl.ca, and we broke down all the playoff scenarios and this playoff picture as we head down the stretch. We also talk about the playoff format. Will the league keep it going into next season? And perhaps an update dropping soon, according to Charlie O'Connor-Clark, regarding player awards. So you're going to want to check out that interview. It's the match day preview. It is available now. But right now, we are doing 3 keys to the match because Forge, they need 3 points. They can't lose to Edmonton. It's a mismatch. I know Edmonton's a tough out. They're tough to score against. They're tough to get points against. Edmonton is very difficult to play against. However, last place team, only 16 points over 25 matches, only 3 wins over 25 matches. There's no room for losing in this one if you're Forge FC, especially when you have aspirations for top spot in the CPL. Let's get to the 3 keys here and break this down and get more in depth because we have some advanced stats to share and ways in which Forge can win this one. Key number 1 for Forge FC: in their face. Get in Edmonton's face. Take away as much time and space as possible. Big reason for that. We know Edmonton likes to defend, but when they do attack, this stood out to me, maybe more than anything. Edmonton and Forge have almost the exact number of shots on goal this year. Forge has 89 shots on target through 24 matches. Edmonton has 88 through 25. So, okay, Edmonton's played 1 extra match, but it's still fairly close in terms of shots on target, which seems surprising with Forge typically always on the attack and Edmonton always defending. So how does this make sense? Well, when you look a little deeper, shots on target in the box versus outside the box, this is where you see the difference. Out of the 89 shots Forge have taken this season, 72 have been from right inside the box, right inside in the depths of that attacking third. Edmonton, on the flip side, of the 88 shots on target, 48 of them were inside the box. 72 versus 48. Same shots on target for Forge, vast majority within the box. Edmonton, outside the box. In fact, shots from outside the box, Forge have 17, Edmonton have 40. So what does this tell you? Edmonton, and listen, we understand Edmonton's situation. We don't need to defend them, but we'll throw it out there anyway. Young club, certain financial restrictions that other clubs maybe don't have, just with ownership issues, things like that. So we understand why Edmonton's in the position they're in. But the reality is, the quality's not there compared to the other clubs, especially in that attacking third. They are not a good 1v1 team. They're not a club that's going to beat you off the dribble. They're a club that's going to, when they get a chance, no matter, if they're 20 yards out and there's a shot at goal, they're going to take it. So if you're Forge FC, when I say in their face, just get in their face. They're not going to be overly aggressive. We know that they're going to have difficulty getting behind you. So if you're a Forge defender or if you're a midfielder defending for Forge FC, this is you keep that in mind. You know that Edmonton's going to take some shots from distance. And listen, sometimes they're going to go in. Sometimes they're going to be rebounds. Sometimes it can create some havoc. If you're Forge, you're stepping up. You're taking away their space. You're not as worried about them going around you and getting by you. So you can be a little more aggressive. if you're a defender, if you're a midfielder. For Forge FC, if you're defending, get in their face. Now, that can also apply to Forge's final third, the press. Getting in Edmonton's face, even when Edmonton is defending and trying to clear the ball. That brings us to key number 2. Scoring spark. Forge FC was on an absolute tear through that middle part of the season. When they had that 6-game winning streak, they were averaging almost 3 goals per match. They have not been at that. They've lost some of that final touch in the attacking third. That final touch. The third, the second touch is there. It's that final one. They haven't been as efficient and as forceful on that final touch. There's been maybe some hesitancy, maybe some overthinking, and we'll get to that in a moment as well. But at the end of the day, for Forge FC, scoring spark. Get the scoring going. Get it. There are a lot of, when you're a goal scorer, and Forge have a lot of them, it takes one to, you want to get on a roll. You want to get that confidence going. And it just hasn't quite been there, especially with some individual players who were on a tear and were consistently scoring and have struggled to find it a little bit late. Scoring can be streaky. That's just the nature of the sport. It's the nature of the position. When we talk about attackers, find that scoring spark. Be just a little more demonstrative in that final third. Bear down. Finish your chances, because once one goes in, two, you get the feeling that with the quality that Forge has, it's not going to take many before the ball starts rolling, and it's a snowball effect. And all of a sudden, Forge catching fire at this perfect time of the year, by the way, to catch fire and to score your goals with your final road match of the season against Edmonton, and then 3 straight home matches in 9 days after that before going into the postseason. So if you're going to catch fire, now is the time to do it. And Forge looking to find that scoring spark. Key number 3 for Forge FC. Eye on the prize. This match against Edmonton will require focus but not overthinking. Now, I know that can be confusing, and that's fair. When Forge is playing fast, when the tempo's there, when the press is on, when they're moving the ball so efficiently and their passing is up around 85%, and possession's up around 60%. This club almost looks like they're on autopilot when things are going well. It's happening. It's snappy. Watch this team in training. The way this club trains, there isn't much thought. It's quick passes, quick movement, quick runs off the ball, 1-2 passes. It's just everything happens so, and it looks like no one's even thinking. It's instinctual. This is why what I say, focus, but also don't overthink it. There's no hesitation necessary. Just shut that brain down. It's there, right? It's a well-oiled machine at this point if you're the Forge players. And with the quality Forge has, these aren't players that have to put a lot of thought into what they do. It's very instinctual. There are times this season, especially when the club has struggled, it's looked sloppy. It's looked a little slower than we're used to. And it looks like guys are overthinking at times, and it's not necessary. Eye on the prize means tunnel vision. This is what we need to do. We know what we need. We know who we need to be to win matches. It's tunnel vision. That's all we're thinking of. Let it go almost on autopilot at this point in the season, because Forge is capable of it. And when you hesitate against a club that defends like Edmonton does with that low block, the counter can kill you. And we've seen it from Edmonton this year against Forge. I mean, Edmonton, a club that struggles to score. I mean, there was a match at home where Edmonton put up 3 goals against Forge. Now, Forge scored 4 of them, but they needed all those goals to win. So Edmonton can be dangerous on the counter. And when you're overthinking and when you're playing a little too slow, that's when you make mistakes and you start sending balls into traffic and just almost playing into Edmonton's game, going right at that low block, and that's where Edmonton creates turnovers, and they are ready for the counter at all times because they know what their strengths are. It's not necessarily going to be a possession game and a front foot attack game. It's going to be defending, and then quickly, when the ball turns over, quickly turning it upfield and trying to beat the other club on the counter. So eye on the prize. That is key number 3 for Forge FC. Those are your 3 keys as a whole, because Forge, Edmonton, it doesn't matter. This is it. It's game time. This is what Forge needs: 3 points to clinch a playoff spot. And once that job is done, Forge can now think about the next step, and that is finishing first, being awarded that regular season title, which is new this season, and most importantly, there will be a semifinal There's a 2-leg semifinal, but if you finish in first place and you make it that far, you are guaranteed a 1-game home match in the final, which is massive. It's massive for the team, for the organization, for the fans, for the cities. So a lot at stake here. The first things first, though. This will go into the third key here. Eye on the prize right now. The prize is a playoff spot, and it can be clinched with 3 points at Edmonton. Make sure you keep it locked. Onto the Forge Audio Network. As I mentioned, a lot has dropped this week, actually. Behind the Beard with Coach Bobby. Focus on Forge, where we highlight some of the Forge players like Nanko and Poku and Noah Jensen. Bobby's featured in Focus on Forge as well. And the match day preview with a more in-depth look at this matchup against Edmonton and also the CPL playoff picture as a whole. And immediately following Edmonton and Forge, we will get to work on the match and review, and that will be released as well on the Forge Audio Network. Make sure you subscribe. We'll talk to you soon.
Forge FC is ready, and now you are too. This has been 3 Keys to the Match on the Forge Audio Network. Keep up to date on your Forge FC by subscribing to the Forge Audio Network on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.